Look at the earthquake in Haiti, boy. Haiti just can't get a break with disaster. But through that disaster, I've learned something from the Haitian people, their resilience and their accuracy. They care more about the dead than the Bahamas government. You imagine an earthquake that piles and piles of debris fell on the dead bodies, and they could come up within 24 hours. The Haitian people would already know that they have 1,297 dead. That's a whopping amount of numbers. This less than 24 hours. And the bodies, most of them was under the debris, I assume, because earthquake just swallow things. But in Hurricane Dorian, most of the bodies were on the surface. Very few body was under concrete slabs and in holes. They were visibly, you could walk and see a hand, a foot, and know that there's a dead body there. September 1st, 2021 will be the second anniversary of Hurricane Dorian. This government haven't told us how many people have died yet. 2 years. They had a lot of time. But let's go back. 2019, before the burial. 9 months after Hurricane Dorian, before the burial, they couldn't tell you accurately how many people have died. And they saw the bodies. The funeral homes brought the body at the clinic. Nobody was counting. Nobody was care. Somebody was counting because they was counting their monies. The funeral home that got the most money, we know who they are, got 45,000. They were counting and telling the government how many bodies they collected and how much they want ahead for each body that they collected. But they refused the government. They paid her for the numbers that she said that she collected, but they wouldn't tell us the number. I guess the number was too big. I don't know why they have hid the number from the public as if it was going to change something, or maybe the world would look at us differently if the number of dead was escalated to the right number. Abaco, this is something to look at, that in 24 hours after earthquake, less than 24 hours, the Haitian could come up with a number. 9 months, the government of Bahamas haven't come up with a number, nor could they identify the dead, nor did they care. In Haiti, they can identify everybody, and they know the numbers. We also had an opportunity to identify, because everybody knew where their family was. If all of them weren't killed at one spot, there's some family members that will remain alive, and they told you where their bodies were. They went and searched and find their bodies. Some of the officials refused to go and assist in retrieving the bodies. But my question is, why haven't the government been truthful for Abaco all these years? The truth started to come out after Dwayne Sands resigned. Him and the minister responsible for security, Marvin Dames, they got into it. They played the blame game. And we still didn't get the numbers after them two got into it. We still don't know because they don't care. And the needs of the living is so much. I went this week, 3 days ago, to the Rotary, where the Rotary got $1 million worth of supply in the gymnasium in Abaco, Marshaba. And when they're trying to get some help for the elderly people in Dunderstan, Murphytown, the guy in charge of Rotary told me point blank, Kai, I just got $1 million worth of supplies, and I got over 150, close to 200 persons on this list that I cannot help. I tried to beg for help for the elderly people, because after the elderly people of what they've gone through, they shouldn't spend the remaining time of their life begging for help and hope. These are the people that should have gotten help forthwith. If Kai Mills was in charge of any relief, I would have seek out the elderly, the widows. Ironically, today, I took a group of guys from the airport to the Manawa ferry, and I asked them what were they doing. I asked them what relief are they doing. They say they are building homes for every widow woman in Manawa. I say, wow, what a blessing. And they say they would have been finished, but because of COVID, stopped them. But wouldn't that have been a good exercise for all the widows in Dundas, Murphy, North Abaco, an agency would have helped the women, because the women are the backbone of the society. All the guys make the babies and they hightail it on to the next one. But what a good idea of these guys coming all the way from America. One of them was a pastor. While we got the pastors in Abaco stealing the material and stealing the monetary fund and playing God, whoever they would help, it has to be an F&M or it has to be their church member. This pastor came from America with his clergymen and paid for the material to rebuild homes in Manawa for widows. Where's such leadership? We have hundreds of churches in this country. Where's the Christian Council? The Christian Council is in charge of hundreds of churches. Have they been visibly present in Abaco or Grand Bahama trying to help anybody? No. Last time I saw the Christian Council, Mario Moxie and a bunch of them, they come down here as F&Ms to try to make minutes look good, to try to set up a memorial for the dead. Neither pastor, neither Christian organization said anything about the longevity of having our loved ones' bodies buried without identification in a trailer for 9 months. Kai Mills was the only one that speak out. The Defense Force come with guns in my face every time I go to do a video. You had all the lay minister go into the trailer. I can see Nehemiah right now touching the trailer, smelling. He don't smell nothing before something go up, one of them flies go up in his nose. Lying as a clergy man, can't stop lying. Lying because they felt that I was making Darren and the F&M look bad because I was speaking the truth. The bodies were smelling, decaying, torn out. 9 months in, we still couldn't identify our loved ones. Neither did they give us the numbers. I had somebody that worked at EMS counting the bodies, so I knew the numbers. They were there every time a body went in there because they had to open the trailer. They knew the numbers. So when they come up with that 55, whatever they came up with, that was way off because they didn't care. It was just for a show. And to date, less than 24 hours, the Haitian government could come up with a staggering number of 1,297 dead, picked up from under the rubbles, and they could identify them. We were only on one little small part of Abaco. One small part of Abaco. and the government of the Commonwealth of Bahamas couldn't identify the dead, couldn't give the numbers, nor could they bury our dead in a timely fashion. I bet the Haitian government ain't gonna wait 9 months to bury their dead. They're gonna bury them in decency and in order and give respect for the dead and to the dead, unlike this uncaring FNM government. But it's something to look at. Why they're building a $35 million bridge. I just told you the guy from the Red Cross said there's almost 200 people still in need. That's a staggering amount of persons 2 years later. And the government could have had 47 homes already constructed, people living in it with power, water, everything. But still, nobody can tell us where's the money for the 47 home, and nobody is making any noise. Only Kai, because Kai cares. Can't even hear the amount of money from the VAT because they don't care. Change ain't coming. Change is here. Vote them out. Kai cares.